Hi, everyone. It's Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. Thank you for visiting my channel. I hope you enjoy these videos. I'm really looking for comments, um, likes, and subscribes, and hit the bell would be really nice. It would help me grow my channel. But as I am watching these readings, this is Operation Dill Pickle. I'm watching them again. It's been over a year since I've seen these. I'm watching them, completely forgotten what was going on. I want to have your comments because it helps me when I go back to write the article about Operation Dill Pickle and as a whole. I haven't written it yet. I want to get through all these videos, but it feels better watching them with you guys instead of just me watching them by myself, and my cats don't even care. So I have blurred these videos. And yes, I understand cold reading is important in a lot of ways where there's the interaction between the medium and the sitter, how they look, how they respond, how they um, do they look confused, do they look upset, that's all important in cold reading. But it's been over a year, gosh, since I did this sting. And I just can't get these videos out because it just takes me so long to fuss on them and so on. And I've just decided let's just do this. So I just blurred them all out. You can't see their names. And let's just listen to the readings and see what we get out of them. So I apologize. I'm looking at a blurry video also. And who you're going to see is somebody named Michelle. I don't know if she's a student of Lady Phyllis or not. We'll find out because Lady Phyllis does mention at the very beginning of the event that is cut out of this video that many of the people who are attending her gallery reading on Zoom are her students. Now, you might hear from a voice called somebody named Tracy, and Tracy is like acting as the assistant to Lady Phyllis. She's doing like letting people in the room and maybe handling the chat or whatever. And Tracy was until a year or so ago, like the right-hand assistant to grief vampire Thomas John. So I know her history and I've been following her for a very long time. And in my opinion, she is somebody who is a true believer. She lost her child and she believes she's communicating with him. It's quite sad. Anyway, so you might hear her voice. So we're going to listen to just Michelle's reading today. Now I have a whole playlist with Lady Phyllis and Operation Dill Pickle on my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are going to check that out because they're quite interesting. So get your pencil and paper out. I think the reading's about, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes long. I will probably stop it as we go. So expect 30 minutes or more, maybe a little longer, because I'm going to break in and we're going to, talk about, well, I'm going to talk about it and hopefully you guys are going to write me notes about what you see and what you think you're seeing or hearing, because a lot of the times it takes a group effort to really uncover what's going on. All right, so I'm going to start the video and I will interject as needed. Again, I apologize that it's all blurry, but it's just what I want to do to get these videos done and to be done with Lady Phyllis. Okay, I believe you can see that now. Let's see where we at. She's about to start with the reading.
Theresa, because she does have a meeting. So, Theresa, when I read somebody, I'm going to tell you everything I see, hear, or feel. So I get an image, a flash. Sometimes I get a smell. Sometimes it's a taste. But if I see a bottle, and I'm going to say to you, I see a bottle, your response would probably be something like, "Oh my God, I had a dream about a bottle last night." It's just whatever I see, hear, or feel. You have to try to fit it into your life. Now, typically, I see spirit. If they come in behind you, it's parents, grandparents. If they come in next to you, it would be of your generation. So it would be somebody who would be a contemporary of yours, but they could have been a contemporary 20 years ago. They could be a contemporary now. And God forbid, when I see in front of you, it's a child, but it doesn't have to be your child. But I'm going to start right away with next to you. And I want to ask if you've lost a contemporary, like a spouse or a sibling.
No.
Have you lost a friend or a cousin? Because there is a male beside you. A cousin. And was this a male?
Yes.
Okay. So, and did he pass suddenly?
Yes.
And was it an accident?
It was self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted, but it was like it was something, it was not a peaceful passing. I'm feeling like, right. Okay. Like I'm feeling like almost a violent end, like it could be a gunshot wound or
yes, gunshot.
Okay, so let's stop right there because this is, I really wish I had made a transcript of this because there's just so much happening right now in this little minute 34 seconds I've played. And I'm hoping you're catching it all. Okay, so first off, it's Theresa, sorry, not Michelle. So Lady Phyllis says she sees them, and depending on where they're standing near the person, is telling her if they're older than they are, or contemporaries, same age, or a child, which is interesting because what? Why would some if there was life after death and Lady Phyllis was connecting to the person, which there's no evidence that that's happening, why would this dead person float or like hang out in a certain place in front of, behind, or beside the person who's getting the reading? Why wouldn't they do that? Why would they do that? Now, I get that Lady Phyllis says that's how it works for her. So is she physically seeing them? And if the idea is where the position of the dead person is helps Lady Phyllis figure out if they're a contemporary or somebody older or a child, why doesn't she tell them the name or some identifying feature? Like your mom's here with you. Your mom Elizabeth is here with you. Oh, your aunt, not Jennifer, but the other one, Maria. She says, you see what I mean? Why would you need them to be in a distance? Like, where are their distance? Now, I've seen other mediums do this too. So I don't know if Lady Phyllis is pulling that from there or this is something she sees. Okay, so there's that. This idea that Lady Phyllis sees something and it's up to the sitter to make sense of it. You need to figure out where that fits in your life. So if I see a bottle, you have to figure out where that bottle fits in. Makes zero sense. Okay, so you got like 20 women on this Zoom call. How is Lady Phyllis knowing she's talking exactly about to this person and not like to the person she just talked to or somebody else who's trying to get through? Because from what I understand, they say these people are always trying to get through, trying to get the attention of the medium. How do you know somebody else isn't throwing a bottle or something? I don't know. I don't understand how somebody could go and have this pay money to have a reading and to have this nonsense told to them and they go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because that ain't making any sense. All right. Not only where the person is standing has something to do with how they're related to you. So I guess if they're so they would stand in different places depending on who is getting the reading. So if there's two people in the reading, if there's two people getting a reading at the same time, like a mom and her daughter are getting a reading together, do the dead people like float from one person, like here they are contemporary with the mom, and then immediately go to the back of the daughter, like boom, boom, we got to move from one place to the other? Or does, when Lady Phyllis is looking at person A, if she's only looking at person A, she sees the dead person behind or beside or in front of. And then if Lady Phyllis turns and looks at the other person over here on this side, now she's concentrating on this person and the dead person's in a different place. And when they're together, then Lady Phyllis can't look at them together because that would be confusing, because you got some dead person like floating to the front, to the back, to the side, over here. Okay, that makes no sense. And it even makes lesser sense that you're able to communicate with the dead, but I digress. Okay, we're never going to get through this video at this rate. I apologize, you guys. I get so excited about these things. Hopefully you do too, and that's why you're watching the channel. All right. Now, this third thing, I'm going to play this last minute over. I'm sorry, but we got to listen to this again, because Lady Phyllis says, is there somebody who's died? And I can't remember, she says behind her. And she says, no, which is weird. Of course you have people who die. And then she says, or no, did she say there's a contemporary? Have you had a sister or a sibling who's died? And she says, no. And then she says, but I see somebody who has died who's about the same age as you. And then I think Lady Phyllis says a male. I think she says a male before Theresa says my cousin, who's a guy. I think. See how, I mean, we're just listening to this. Can you imagine how caught up, if you're caught up in this in the moment and you're all emotional and everything, how you can't catch this when we are calmly just sitting here watching this and able to stop and start the video at will. And I'm confused, and it was only like 30 seconds ago. So if I'm watching this like I think so, if I'm listening to it correctly, I think Theresa's giving her the information and Lady Phyllis is agreeing to it. Like, oh yeah, that's what he's saying. Oh yes, I see that. And the person who's getting the reading has kind of led it to be a violent death, a quick death, a violent death. And then Lady Phyllis says with a gunshot. And she agrees. So how much of this is Lady Phyllis getting the information before Theresa hands it to her? And I don't know what the statistics are on men unaliving themselves. I think that's the correct way we're supposed to say it here on YouTube. But Lady Phyllis has done probably thousands of readings now, and I'm sure, since she focuses on the end of people's lives, I'm sure she probably knows the statistics on death of a male better than I do. So would using what method that a male would take if they intend to unalive themselves, would they typically use one form over another when it's intentional? If so, I'm sure Lady Phyllis knows that, because this is her business to know that. So I'm going to replay this last little bit because I want to listen to those words again. And since we're watching this together, I think it's the last 30 seconds. So let's see. I promise we'll get through this thing. Right about there. Let's see if that's enough.
Lost a friend or a cousin, because there is.
Okay, just a tiny bit more. She's trying to get to, oh, come on, man. I can either go 0 or I can go 1.04. I can't seem to. Oh, here it is, 10 seconds. Okay, let's try that.
But I'm going to start right away with next to you. And I want to ask if you've lost a contemporary, like a spouse or a sibling.
No.
Have you lost a friend or a cousin? Because there is a male beside you. A cousin. And was this a male?
Yes.
Okay. So, and did he pass suddenly?
Yes.
And was it an accident?
It was self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted, but it was like it was something, it was not a peaceful passing. I'm feeling like,
No.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
Like I'm feeling like almost a violent end, like it could be a gunshot wound or
Yes,
right,
gunshot.
gunshot.
Mhm.
All I felt was an impact to the bottom of my chin. So that's what I felt. His parents are still alive?
Yeah.
Are
His
you
mother,
Okay, stop. I promise we're gonna get through this. But we can't see again, it's blurry, so we can't tell what her reaction is when Lady Phyllis mentions um a violent end or a sudden end. But it's possible that Theresa could have, given some kind of look with her face that would be show Lady Phyllis, who's done thousands of these readings and is much better at reading people than I would be able to do this, pick up on it. So again, here's what Lady Phyllis said. I'm picking up a contemporary, somebody standing beside you. Have you lost a spouse, a sibling? And she says, no. A friend, a cousin? She says, yes. So come on now. Isn't that kind of, going down the most common, okay, your spouse, a sibling, a friend? Do you have a cousin? Is there anybody out there who's your age who's died? And the fact that Lady Phyllis can't figure that out, considering they're right there talking to her, like, or whatever it is, they're just sitting thought waves to Lady Phyllis. She can see them. She sees a male, or is she sensing a male? They're just making this up anyway. So that's a huge fail, right? Okay. Is there a spouse, a sibling, a friend, a cousin, anybody? And then she says, the Theresa starts saying, yes, a cousin, and they talk over each other a little bit. And I thought I heard that the cousin was a male, that Theresa said a male. And then Lady Phyllis says a male. Was it a quick ending? Now, think about the statistics on this. This woman, I don't know how old she is, probably in her 50s. Statistically, if somebody near your age group dies, um, is it more likely to be an illness that's prolonged and takes a long time, or is it more likely to be something that would be unexpected, an accident or whatever? So I don't know the odds on that. I don't know the statistics on it, but I would assume that the older you are when somebody dies, it becomes more likely it is an illness that is prolonged than if you're younger, 20, 30 years old, 40 years old, and somebody's who's your age dies, that it's maybe more likely to be like a drug overdose or something like that, or a sudden thing. Okay. And then she says it was sudden. And again, we can't see Teresa's expressions. And she says, yes. And you can hear her whole voice change, her inflections change. And then she says, was it a violent death? And she says, yes. And she says, I'm getting something like a gunshot. And she's like, yes. Again, I think that Lady Phyllis is playing the odds. And if she had said like a gunshot and it wasn't right, or drugs, or what other method that would be statistically most common for a male to unalive himself. So she just got it right on the gunshot. And then, oh, it's just so disgusting. She says, yes, it was. And then she goes, yeah, because I'm getting an image of somebody putting it to their, you know what I'm saying, to their chin. And you're like, really, Phyllis? Really? Are you going to go there that this woman is going to get to relive the end of her male cousin? I mean, can we why would the male cousin be showing that? Why if the cousin wants to have a conversation with Theresa, why show that? Why not send images of wonderful memories and great times they had playing in the park or a birthday party, or why would you show that? And if he's looking for evidence of that he's her cousin, why wouldn't he just say his name or where they lived? Or because Lady Phyllis does names. I mean, she throws out quite a bit of names. So why wouldn't he just try to give her his name, spell it, or like write it in the, reverse? I don't know how you'd write a J backwards or something. Anyway, why wouldn't they do that? Have we forgotten? Because makes no sense. Okay, we can do this. I promise. Let's I hope you're making notes because I'm making notes, but good gracious. Oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. It's so hard. Okay, here we go. Somebody's got to do this. And it appears to be me.
No, his mother has died, but his father is alive still.
Okay, not that his father's going to believe this. It's kind of woo-woo for him. But if you
Mhm.
can speak to his father, is that your uncle?
Yes.
He says, could you let my dad know? Now, did he have the same name as his father? Because I'm feeling like there's two with the same name, and that might be somebody else in the family.
Maybe his middle name, but a different first name.
Okay, because I'm feeling like that. So, is there someone in the family that's on the other side who has a living relative here with the same name? Because I feel like what they show me is a bouncing ball. So it's
There's
like
lots
somebody.
of that in that family. Yeah.
Okay,
Lots of repeat names. Yeah.
okay. So he wants his father to know that he's fine, he's at peace. And I think he wants to address that, all that stuff that people may believe that if you take your own life, you get stuck in a certain place. He wants his father to know none of that is true. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no punishments. And it's very
Mm.
important that he know that he's with his mom.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so who's the M name for you, living or past? Who's the M name? Like
Well, okay, gotta stop. Goodness, forget this. Deep breaths is in deep breath. I've got a ton of these videos to get through. I'm going to make them into little tiny videos. Well, whatever is little tiny. I've got an hour, 44 minutes. It's probably, oh Lord, I don't know. Okay. Are his parents still alive? She asks her if his parents are still alive. You're the psychic. And she says, well, the mom has died and the mom and the wonder about how many questions these people ask. The dad is dead. I mean, the dad's alive, the mom is dead. Mom is dead, mom's alive. And then Phyllis throws out there, well, so is this your uncle? Well, yeah, it's your uncle if it's your cousin. How else would he be your cousin if he isn't your uncle? And I don't know about you guys, but in my family, when they got married, the in-law, the non-blood relation, aunt or uncle, is now my aunt or uncle. And that's how we always called them. Their name is always, so if somebody said, is that your uncle? I'd be like, yes, that's my uncle, even if it is the spouse of my aunt. Okay. Or it might have been just a 50-50 yes. Is it your uncle? Yeah. Okay. Moving on. And then she throws out, well, your uncle would find this, he doesn't believe in all this stuff. Gee, considering that like six times six, it's the ratio is like 6 women to every man. And whenever it comes to these events, I'm not surprised. And the men that you do see attend these events or get the readings are usually doing so with a woman with them, so they're done not necessarily under duress, but usually they're pretty skeptical. So I think it's a pretty darn good guess whenever Lady Phyllis says, well, I think he wouldn't have gone for this, but he wants him to know. Can you let your uncle know that he's doing fine? Everything's great. Yeah, just completely ignore the fact that he just showed me that he has a GUN underneath his chin and that right, no problem. No problem. Oh, he's fine. He was just showing me how he died. This woman's crazy. And then is he named for somebody? Is there somebody with the same name? And this is one of Lady Phyllis's things. She does this all the time. And when you start watching a certain medium, you see that there's the same kinds of tropes or things they throw out there continually. And this is the beginning of the whole 2-hour thing. I'm showing you one of the first readings she does. So she ain't tired yet. I could see her throwing out the same old things maybe near the end when she's exhausted, but no, this is the beginning. I'm seeing a bouncing ball, and that is her metaphor that somebody is named after somebody. And she's like, is this guy named after his dad? Well, why didn't you tell us what his name is, Phyllis? She goes, I don't know, maybe his middle name. And then she says, is there anybody else in the family that might have been named for somebody else? And she's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of that in our family. Who who doesn't have family members that are naming their children after another family member? I mean, my gosh. It's so obvious to me. Okay. He's with his mom. That's cool. Isn't that sweet? He's with his mom. She knows mom's dead because Theresa just told her mom's dead. And what is that supposed to do for the father? Oh, okay. They're hanging out together. They hated each other in real life, but now I guess they're hanging out together. Or does it make the dad want to not, if you believe in this being real, does it make you not want to fight for your life here on this existence? I mean, tooth and nail, just to fight for it, to stay here longer. If you believe that you're going to be able to go hang out with your son and your wife that you miss so much, I mean, is it supposed to make the transition easier, or would you be like, I don't know. I don't know if that's healthy. Because in some cases, some people should be able to fight and stay. But okay. Curious what you guys are writing. Here we go. Deep breath.
In Maryland.
Well, his name was Martin.
Okay.
Martin, French, Martin.
Arte. Okay. So he's validating with his name with the M. So he wants everybody to know that he's fine, and he says all that crap they teach you, it's all baloney.
Sorry, you guys. It was just me.
Name, but a different first name.
Okay, because I'm feeling like that. So is there someone in the family that's on the other side who has a living relative here with the same name? Because I feel like what they show me is a bouncing ball. So it's like
There's
somebody...
lots of that in that family. Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of repeat names. Yeah.
Okay. So he wants his father to know that he's fine, he's at peace. And I think he wants to address that, all that stuff that... So he wants everybody to know that he's fine. And he says, all that crap they teach you, it's all baloney business. It's all one big happy thing over here. The worst thing that people have to do is look through the eyes of the person that they've hurt. Look and see what that feels like. But I do feel that there's another contemporary for you on the other side. So are you married?
Yes, I am.
Does your husband have a brother that's on the other side, or also
No,
a relative on
um,
a young man?
no, not that I know of. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to leave that because it could be somebody else's um, coming into it. I'm going to ask you: is your father passed?
No, mine isn't. No,
Is his
mine
father
is still.
passed?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, because that would come in as your father also, even though it's your father-in-law. So
Oh, I.
he comes in as an older generation. And I do hear the name Edward or Edward. Is there an Edward in the family, living or dead?
Not that I can think of, but there's so many names. Yeah, no, no.
If you,
Almaz, yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Maybe you heard Almaz was my grandfather's name. Almaz.
Well, it's a vowel, and Edward starts with a vowel. I do
Mhm.
sometimes I wouldn't know, like I would not know it's a French name or
Yeah,
it's a
French.
name. But this felt like a father figure coming in. But I'm just going to leave it, and I'm going to ask you: is your mom passed?
No.
So
Oh my God, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, I missed the part about the M name and his name being French. She says his name is French, and I think I missed it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Please don't make me go back and rewatch it. So he says that first she says, is there an M name? I'm getting an M name, which is like a J name, is just the things the psychics say. And then I think she said something like Matthew or Michael or something like that. And then the woman volunteers some name that starts with an M that's like Mateo or something French. So now she knows there's French. So when she goes back and she says, are you married? Again, why are you asking so many questions, Lady Phyllis? Don't you know these things? Do you have a brother or young man, someone, anyone about your age that has died? Is your father passed? Goodness gracious, why don't you know? No, but how about you're married? Has your husband's father passed? Okay, so so your husband's father has died. And so that is the guy who's trying to come through because he shows us her father on the other side. Is the name Edward and she says the word Edward, the name Edward with a French accent all of a sudden. I don't know how to say Edward with a French accent. I'm going to embarrass myself. Edward or Edward or Edward. I don't know. You heard her. So all of a sudden now she's got some names that are coming through that are French sounding. And then the sitter, who's motivated, says Almans. And she goes, what was that? And she says Almans. And she goes, oh, Almans. And Theresa says, yeah, that's my father-in-law's name is Almans. And huzzah, huzzah, we have a win. Bing, 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 bing. Because Almans and Edward both start with a vowel. We got it. Lady Phyllis must be the real deal. I throw in my pencil and hit a bell. Goodness gracious. It starts with a vowel, and Lady Phyllis would not understand a French name at all. So they're all the same, I guess, in Lady Phyllis's world. Edward, however she wants to say it with some sort of accent, or Almans, it's the same. Genius. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go. Can't be much longer, I hope. Let's see.
grandma is on the other side.
Two grandmothers.
Two grandma, but there was one grandmother that you were particularly close with.
More so, yes.
Is this your mom's mom?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because she pulls close to you. Did she used to make some kind of like some kind of small doily or something with lace. Did she used to do
Yeah,
something?
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, she would win contests at the craft fair,
yeah, because
Yeah.
she's showing me that it's like almost like a rosette. Like a
Oh, so many of them. I have them all right over there. I
oh,
have them all.
she was just
Yeah.
gonna say thank you for keeping them for me. You know,
Oh,
acknowledging that you do have them, that you honor her. Is there one
yeah.
with a red ribbon on it? Because I see a red ribbon attached.
Yeah, I do have one that has red ribbon, not here, but in another place.
If they're
Yeah,
gorgeous, I mean,
they're
these are really
beautiful.
like. She's very proud, and she says, "Oh, the kids today don't know how to make them." Like she
Yeah.
this is a very fine craft, and I think it has even a special name,
It's
like
crocheting, crocheting.
crochet. But it's a very unique group of ladies that used to do this kind of stuff, and
Mm.
she's very proud of it. She says the kids today don't. Um,
Oh, it's so true.
right. So, you have children?
Yes,
Two,
I have
three.
three.
Are there two that are the same?
Well, they're very close in age and they're very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
What they're showing me is two. So when they do that, we have to figure out why are the two. The other thing is, are you one of two?
No, I'm one of four.
Okay.
I'm the baby.
Say it again.
The baby of four.
Baby of four. But again, is there anything to distinguish it that it would be two? Why would they say, are there two boys and two girls or two of the same?
I don't know. There is two boys and two girls in my with me, my generation. Yeah.
Okay, because she brings up two, so we try to place what does she mean by two. Okay,
Mhm.
and so anyhow, one of your kids is one of the kids going off or going into something that's very you're nervous and excited at the same time. Is somebody embarking on something new? Like I
Yeah.
don't going to university or going to traveling, going abroad. I don't, but there's something big happening for this child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your grandmother says, I got you covered.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. What's the Greek connection? What's Greece about? Why are they showing me Greece?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not
Somebody
sure.
is somebody going to Greece?
No, but my a lady I was quite close to, she passed away and she's Greek.
Okay, because
So,
I see the blue roofs of Greece. So
oh,
was her name, did her name start with a vowel like Irene or Eileen?
oh, her name started with an M, Mary.
Okay, all right, fine.
Oh,
Okay, so she's coming through, and this was
oh.
somebody you were very close with, a neighbor. Did she used to watch your children?
No, well, I was very close to her. I was close with her kids, and then I became close with her. They
Okay,
lived close to us, yeah.
all right. Well, she's coming through. And did you go see her at the very end? Did you go visit her
No,
right
I
before?
didn't. I didn't. She was in another city, and I couldn't. Yeah, and I
You
didn't.
wanted to see her? Like, yes. So she's
Yeah.
saying nothing that was left unsaid had to be said. She had very nice feelings towards you. Like, in other words, you were one of her kids. She enjoyed you. She didn't have anything left that was not said.
Oh,
Do you have any?
I'm
Yeah. Teresa, do you have any questions?
um no, I don't think so. That was really nice. Yeah.
Good, I'm
No, I
glad.
really enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed.
If you're like me, jeez. All right. Thankfully, it's over. Do you have a grandmother on the other side? Well, this woman's probably in her 50s. So that would mean her grandmother would be probably in her 90s by now. I mean, it's possible that she could have a grandmother still alive, but she's like, oh, yeah, there's two of them. They're both gone. No kidding. Um, is there is there this is another one of these things you hear Lady Phyllis say all the time, that you were closer to one than the other. Well, of course you are. You're closer to one than the other. And then the good guess is that your mom's mom. Usually, that's kind of just if we're going to be generic and you have to pick one, that tends to kind of happen. Okay, so did this very, very old lady, this woman who, if she was alive today, would probably be in her 90s or 100, did she make any crochet any little lace doilies? Oh no, that never happened. Oh my gosh, that never happened. I think everybody in my family either quilted or made lace doilies. And yes, I do not know how. So kids these days do not know how to make lace doilies. But then again, I have all these lace doilies left over. What the heck are you supposed to do with them? Okay. And then she goes into this thing about, I guess maybe Lady Phyllis has just seen a documentary on lace making or something, and they made rosettes and then they'd weave them with ribbon, and it was common to use red ribbon or something like that. And kids today, kids today, they don't know how to do anything. So grandma is in contact with granddaughter, right? Here's grandma. All right, I got a link to my grandchild. It's so great to see Theresa. I want to show her my doilies. Thanks for keeping those and not throwing them away or getting coffee on them or whatever it is people do and not giving them to the Goodwill. Good job. I that's fine. That's all I got. Grandma's like, cool. We don't have to talk about the world, politics, um, good advice, maybe where she should get stock or some mystery that is solved now that grandma's over there hanging out with people, making doilies or whatever she's doing. I mean, what would they do that over there? Really? What would they do? They have like, anyway, it just gets ridiculous. And the woman's like, Teresa's like, uh-huh. Oh, that's very interesting. Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's another name for what these people who make these doilies. Do you have children? Again, she has to ask. Are there two? She says, no, there are three. She says, are there two that are the same? And Lady Phyllis asked me this exact same question at the end of this 2 hours, and I'm not showing you right now. It's on the playlist if you want to see it. She asked me the exact same question. I have a feeling we're going to hear that over and over and over again. Are there two that are the same? When I got the reading from Lady Phyllis, I said, well, I don't know. There's no twins. They're not twins. And she's like, no, I'm not talking about twins. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She goes, well, two that are the same. I'm like, well, I don't quite understand what you mean by the same. Does that mean like what? The same. Anyway, it just gets to be ambiguous, and she, whatever fits, fits. And then she asks her, are you Theresa 2? She says, no, I'm 4. I'm the baby. So she gives up the information. And then she says, grandma's talking about your kids. Okay. What has grandma got to say to my kids? I to 2 of my kids, one of the kids, whatever. Is one of your kids starting something new and everybody's excited about it, and grandma is watching over that and helping that to happen? And Teresa's like, oh, wow, cool. That's great. Thanks, grandma. My child is so inept that it couldn't possibly do something new without having you, whatever you're doing over there. And that other thing, she says, go tell your father, tell your husband, no, tell your uncle. Which one was it? She says, oh, make sure you tell your uncle that his son came through and is thinking about him. And I thought, how would that conversation go? Hey, uncle, just FYI, your son who unalived himself, he came through in a mediumship reading I was doing. He wanted to tell you It's all good. He's okay. And he's hanging out with mom. I was just thinking, how do you have that conversation with your uncle? I don't know. I'd be anyway. Okay. Greece. Why am I getting something with Greece? Okay. Greek, Greece, connection, Greece. And the woman finds a way of making some Greek connection, right? She says, there was this woman that I used to know who was Greek. I guess if she hadn't come up with that woman who was Greek, maybe she could say, I once passed by a Greek restaurant. Yes, that must be it. Lady Phyllis says, yeah, because grandma's talking about she wished you'd gone in there and had a crepe or something. I mean, it means, okay. So she says, yes, and then Lady Phyllis, I'm seeing the blue roofs of Greece. You ain't seeing nothing, lady. You're just making this up. Is the name Irene or Eileen or something like that a vowel name mean anything to you? Is connected to the Greek connection? And hallelujah, another bit of a success for Lady Phyllis, because absolutely the woman that Theresa used to know, who's Greek, who's died, her name is Mary. I guess it's a vowel in Greece. I don't know. Mary. Her name is Mary, not Eileen, not Irene. It doesn't start with a vowel, but Lady Phyllis just moves on with it as if she got it right. That's how the mediums do that, and they're relying on it happening fast. That the sitter is not taking notes and is not able to stop and like we are, and it's just moving on really, really quick. And she said, did she used to watch your children? No. Did you see her at the end? No. She has nice feelings about you. Everything that was said that needed to be said had been said. So why don't you tell me something that's a little more relevant than, hey, the Greek lady who you used to know, whose name is not start with a vowel, her name is Mary, who you used to know her kids, she stopped by to say, hey, get a crepe. Go to Greece, go visit. No, no, she comes by to say, hey, it's cool. Just thought I'd say hi. Hi. It's all good. All right. What is missing? Like everything, right? She asked her more questions than she had statements. She got zero names right. Edward and Almans are the same thing. And I guess Irene and Mary are very similar. Um, she doesn't know if she's married. She doesn't know if she has kids. She didn't know how many kids she had when she finally said she had kids. She doesn't know if her parents are dead. She only knows that the grandmothers are probably dead. Duh. She she started off with a spouse, a sibling, a friend, or a cousin. She asked her if she was one of two kids, and she says, no, I'm one of four kids. Um, is somebody starting something new in one of your kids, and grandma's watching over that, and something about Greece, and that everything's all good with this Mary person who's from Greece because it's all good. In other words, everything's missing. There's no names, there's nothing specific. It's all just vague um, nonsense that Lady Phyllis is giving as Theresa is adding more and more to the story. Um, it's the thing is, and that makes this so sad, is Theresa's going to leave this call. Now, all of us, everybody who paid to be on this call, which was me, received a video. This video that I have here, they gave it to me. They sent it to me. They emailed it to me because I paid whatever the fee was to get my reading. and to be in the gallery. So now later, Theresa can look it over again, hopefully show it to her, hopefully skeptical family who will say, what? Why do you think this is specific in any way? Because what Teresa's going to do is she's going to leave this reading and she's going to go and she's going to tell people, I had the most fabulous reading today. Lady Phyllis, I tell you, she is just the most amazing medium. She told me specific things. She was in contact. Would you believe this? She was in contact with Mary. Remember Mary? I used to watch her kids. It was from Greece. She even got a hold of her. And my grandfather, my husband's, I wish I could see her telling her husband this. Your dad, she tells it to her husband, who's also unnamed. And all the kids are unnamed and all her siblings are unnamed. So she's going to tell her husband, your father, Almans, came through in the reading I got today from Lady Phyllis. She knew spot on. She got his name and everything. And she knew all about my cousin, who was unnamed, and how he unalived himself. Her words of how he died. We don't know if that's exactly what she was talking about. And so on and so on. So Teresa's going to leave this reading saying, I had a wonderful reading. It was amazing. And all these specifics came through. And she's going to she's the type of person who leaves the comments on my channel. All these videos, whenever these psychic mediums find out that I've done a video on them, their followers come over and they leave these specific comments like, I've had a reading from Lady Phyllis and she's amazing. She told me things there's no way anybody else could know. That's what they say. Is this an example of somebody getting specifics that there's no way anybody else could know? I assure you, I have been listening to Lady Phyllis for a long time, and I've got, like I said, I'm just now breaking this down into little readable videos for your and my sake. And this is as specific as it gets, and that is lame. Lady Phyllis is cold reading, awful cold reading. She was trained by Thomas John, by the way. She obviously wasn't trained in hot reading, but it's pretty awful, isn't it? Oh, you guys, I'm so glad you're here with me. Please leave me your comments. I have to pretend you're right out there watching this because it's so difficult to watch these. It does leave me emotionally drained. And, Mark Edward would be here with me, or he would be like, what the heck, Susan? Why are you punishing yourself for watching these? I believe somebody's got to do this. Somebody's got to bear witness, release these videos and explain them, because otherwise there's just no pushback whatsoever on them. And it always becomes, I had this most amazing reading with the psychic and they told me things that there's no way anybody else could possibly know. And there's nothing you can say that would make me think it otherwise. So if you've gotten this far in the video, thank you so much. Like, share, and I want to see your comments. All right. And check out the playlist. You got to listen to the video if you haven't already, where she gives me a reading. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Okay. Thanks, everybody.